What is this? Yeah, as if I have a double boss here. The King of the Mists and the, what is it? The Incarnation of Agony. Damn. Big juicy monies. Getting this to 20 quality. And valid for Arc. That would be so huge, man. Oh! Woohoo! Actually got it. Nice. Down the clown. Campaign done. Time for maps. Time for glory. Time for countless of divines and mirrors. I'll be there. Lure monsters away. Click the Legion. Move away. Press your Vaal arc. And, oh shit. The last row didn't... What is this? Extra life and cycling damage reduction. Dude, this is so bullshit, man. Whatever. Pew! Vaal arc. Festival gift. Three orbs of augmentation. Yes! It works! Nice. Wow. Soul Eater life regen. This dude takes no damage. I'm one-shotting everything else, but this dude... Did you buy supporter packs? You know what they say, supporter packs make sixlings go brrr. With the amount of money that I have spent in Path of Exile since I started this game, I should drop about 10 mirrors every single league. And I haven't even dropped one, so... Dude, can I fucking... Dude, this is buggy! Dude, my mirror is over the Viridian whatever thing. I cannot activate the mirror. Yo, it's cheating! Hello? I wanna... Yo! That's stupid, man. Let me activate the mirror. I don't want to do the league mechanic net right now. Give me a 5 link. That's all I'm asking for. Oh, finally. Okay, let's try lab. Bad idea. Bad idea. Nice. Uber lab done. 83 on a 5 link. Bam. Vapor of Storms. Now we should have 50% shocks. Hey guys, and welcome to a new video. Today, update number 1 on the mana stacking Vaal Arc Ignite Elementalist. We are currently level 85. It's, as I said, the end of day 1 basically, because you can't really count in day 1 as the Friday, the league start day, because it's only like 4 hours of the day when a new league starts. And that's why I say, like, hey, today's like first day, the first like full 24 hours basically. And we are doing quite well. Level 85, the Uber lab has been done on a 5 link. I have the Cloak of Flame. I'm gonna go over the entire gear, what changes that I've done, and so on and so forth. And I just want to give you guys the upgrading paths that I'm currently doing, or what I'm going to do next. What about the purchases? What about the currency, the progression, and so on and so forth. Talking about progression and the early map showcase to start the things off with that. I'm currently on 42. So I've basically done all the white tier maps, and now I'm starting to push into yellow tier maps. So if you go into maps, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, everything, all the bonus objectives are done. When it comes to the Atlas passive tree, it's basically super generic. Blocking league mechanics. Why? Because, you know, the thing is, if you haven't spec'd into league mechanics, they are not that profitable. On League Start, it's a bit different, but you also, like, I personally focus heavily onto the Atlas progression. That means what I need is Shaping the Mountains, shaping the skies, as well as shaping the world, and also like some of these nodes. Also, all of these nodes have like chances for maps to drop higher, to drop more maps, to have an easier and smoother pass throughout the Atlas finishing, right? I'm not into like farming currency or anything like that whatsoever. My first priority in the league start is always fill up your entire Atlas passives, unlock your favorite map slots, and once this is done, you know, then we start doing our first currency strat. But early on, all I care about is maps, map sustain, and the progression. That's why I also like blocked out all the league mechanics, because honestly, as I said before, if you haven't skilled into the league mechanic, they are not that profitable, and in my opinion, kind of a waste of time. And it's also important, like, how does your build perform against that? For example, breaches, I don't care about breaches as long as you haven't spec into that. You know, the breach stone drops and so on there, you need to spec into that to make that possible. So kind of a yikes. Same with like the abyss, takes too long time. Expedition, haven't spec into it. Same as the Sacred Grove. I just think when a Sacred Grove spawns in a map, it just takes too much time. And I could rather like either do the Sacred Grove, which I haven't spec into, or just run another map for my completion, right? Next thing is here, Legion. I mean, I'm playing an Vaal Arc build. It's a super insane Legion killer. Yes, it would be more profitable if I would spec into it, but I think Legion is still like valuable for me. On the other hand, I don't care about the heist. Delirium is quite nice for early currency. I don't do Ultimatum. The reason for that is I've done like 6-7 waves, but I usually end up dying because I'm not ailment immune yet. So I get shocked, I get frozen in place, I get ignited, my mana get drained, and I can't like survive that, right? And that's why I say, as long as I can do the full Ultimatum, I think it's kind of a waste. Same with like Blight. I just personally don't like Blight, and Ritual, the same thing as well. So I'm currently doing like, I just have like Legion and Delirium out there. So the thing is, like, you might wonder now, hey, why do you like unspec these, like why do you block the league mechanics if you could just ignore them? Well, basically I'm not ignoring Delirium, and I'm not ignoring Legion, and when I block the others, the Legion and the Mira, the Delirium has like a higher chance of proccing my map, so it's like better for me, right? Other than that, as I said, shaping the skies, shaping the mountains, and currently I'm working my way towards up here, taking probably all the nodes here and go into the shaping the world, and then probably gonna go my classic thing with like shrines, strong boxes, and maybe essence. This is like my go-to Atlas passive tree that I've been using for the past couple of leagues. And as I said, once my Atlas is full and cleared, then that is when I start to like unspec certain nodes and then work towards my first currency node, whatever I'll be up for farming at this point. Good. So let's see, I pre-rolled a couple of maps. So I think, what do we run here? Let's run here a waste pool map. So you see the clearing, or maybe like a more wide open map. What could we do? Sepulture, Iceberg, Shore map maybe. All these are pre-rolled. That means what I'm doing here, I open regex PoE, right? This is a website where you can like get a code, a regex code for rolling your maps. It means if you click here on the left side of map modifiers, there is a list of all map modifiers that you can click on, and then it will generate a code. And what I picked here is, I don't want to run LD Reflect, I don't want to run No Regen, I don't want to run Cannot Inflict Exposure. I can run those maps, but I'm just going to have like a lot less damage and chance to avoid elemental ailments because I'm an Ignite build. So these are the 4 mods that I don't want to have. It gives you a code, so you copy that, and you just paste it here in your search window, and then it will highlight all the maps that fulfill the thing. So if there would be an Avoid Elemental Ailments map, it will be gray, and then I know I need to reroll that map. So what I do usually in the start of the day, I'm just picking all the maps that I gotten, whatever, and then I just put in the regex, I roll a bunch of maps, and then I just like blast them right away. So this is what we're gonna do now. So we're gonna do the first, it's a tier 6 map, which is currently the one we have 36% more monster life, and this is currently on a 5 link, pretty much without quality on any support gems. We are running chain here because I got myself an arc of oscillating, and also like so I bought the gem, I qualityed it up, and then I Vaaled it for the Vaal version. And no, the Vaal version is still the old Vaal version of Arc, okay? So the Vaal Arc has nothing to do with the oscillating one. Oscillating is basically, has a lot lower DPS or damage, but therefore per extra chain it adds 50% more damage which hit with hits against with hits and ailments for each remaining chain. The regular one has 15%. As I said, I think this would be the gem of choice for me because I'm playing an Archmage build. I will get the flat lightning damage for Arc, for my ignites, from Archmage, from the Arcane Cloak once I have it and stuff like that. I'm not really too reliant on that, but I want to have Vaal Arc for the clearing aspect. Other than that, I'm still using no gems in my helmet, so if you're wondering, where is your Arcanist brand setup? Where is your Flame Surge? Where is your Arcane brand, Arcane Cloak? Where is all of that kind of things? The reason for that is I'm still using this weird ascendancy where it says ally res, increased life, and movement speed if you don't have any gems in your helmet, in your gloves, and in your boots. And that's the reason. So 30% movement speed, 50 all res, and 25% increased maximum life. So I was like, you know, I still CBA buying gems, but at the moment with this setup, I'm like super overcapped with res and like 262 fire res, 138 and 109 lightning res. So I'm gonna fix a lot of those things tomorrow. But other than that, build is feeling simply amazing. It's just like a one-button build with a lot of chains. I currently think I have like 9 chains, and then you have like this wonderful Vaal Arc button that deals like a lot of damage. And here we have like some Uber Pinnacle Essence with like whatever. I don't care. I'm just gonna grind it towards some other monsters so it will die over time from the ignite. So I don't really have to focus kill it too much, right? I'm using a mana potion and a life flask. The reason for that is if I'm getting a big bleed, a big what is it, ignite or anything like that, my mana just gets drained because I don't have an Series foible yet and stuff like that. So it helps getting the mana pool back up because the life flask will help the what is it, the agnostic to fill up my life pool faster to then regen my mana back up. So as long as you're not full life, your mana flask basically works as a kind of a life flask trying to get you back up, right? But I think build is doing phenomenal. I just can always like recommend Arc Ignite. Arc, a wonderful skill, a lot of chains. I currently run like 9 chains, and Vaal Arc chains like even crazier. Usually when there is like the map boss or anything like that. So here is a bunch of monsters pressing this Vaal Arc, everything chains, everything dies. It just feels super amazing. I hope we're gonna get a Legion or something like that, so you can see the clearing on that aspect too. And this one is ghosted, I think. I don't know. Doesn't matter. Since we're running now Shaper of Storms, what is that? Null and Void, Plateau Map, stuff here, some stuff there. So since I'm running the Shaper of Storms as my 4th lab ascendancy, right? The first one was Shaper of Flames, then Mastermind of Discord, rushing into the element like Collyrium. I'm gonna explain that in a bit. Then Heart of Destruction, and now I picked up Shaper of Storms. So the Arc of Osculating does have a very, very low base damage. A lot less, like half or less than half than the regular Arc. But I can still inflict like 50% shocks on enemies. So how do I do that if the hit is that low? Well, there is a mastery for Lightning which says increase and reductions to maximum mana also applies to shock effect at 30% of the value. And since I'm stacking a lot of like percent mana everywhere where I can find it, I'm also gonna get a lot of shock effect. And even if my lightning damage hit is very low, I still gonna inflict like 40 or 45 or even 50% shocks most of the time. And the higher my mana pool, the higher my Archmage, the easier it will be to even get like a 50% shock on something like an Uber Pinnacle boss, for example, right? That's like the power and the beauty of mana. Like, there is so many aspects that play together and just makes the build feel like just very, very amazing. Especially if you've never played Agnostic. If you run Uber Lab, you can just stay in the traps and you can just go AFK because you have more mana regen than you need to like fill up your life pool, so you cannot die in the traps. And that's why it was like kind of easy to do the Uber Lab on a 5-link without any special gear or anything like that. My damage is not the craziest, but it's still like super fine for the current pushing. But yeah, it is a tier 6 map, but in the other hand, you know, it's a 5-link. No jewels, no Watcher's Eye, no quality on gems, no Awakened gems, no nothing that is in some form crazy, or where you would say, yo, that's just OP, right? Good. Key aspects. Why? I mean, it shouldn't be like a full build guide by any means. I just like trying to like build up why do I make certain decisions, right? Quick explanation: mana stacking, we don't reserve anything. Mind of a matter, first thing, if I get damage, 40% of the damage is going to mana before life. So you might say, yo, you only have 3k life, but it is not true, because 40% of the incoming damage on my life is going to mana. So that's why I have like a lot more EHP than just like 3k. Agnostic is the thing where I don't have energy shield, but while not on full life, sacrifice 20% of mana per second to recover that much life. That means as soon as my life drops, my mana gets drained to fill up my life pool. And that means 20%, so with my current mana pool of like 5008 times 0.2 means I have like round about 1000 life per second as soon as I get damage until my life pool is full up, and then basically my mana starts restoring, right? And this is only like on 5k. Once we have like 10k mana, where I just plan to get at some point, it's gonna be like around about 2000 life per second. Means it takes like 1.5 seconds to fill up my entire life pool. It's just like having a permanent life flask up. And you're gonna fix all that like life regen thingy with mana regen, because the more mana you can regen, the better it is sustainable against like dots, like lightning dots or bleeds or ignites or anything like that. So let's take the next key point. LE Overload, it is a non-crit build. That means they buffed the base crit chance of Arc, means it's easier to proc this LE Overload. Means if I crit with Arc, then I have 40% more elemental damage for the next 8 seconds, which plays heavily into favor of the Ignite, because it's a 40% more Ignite multiplier. Let's talk about elemental equilibrium, and this is something you need to like listen to carefully, because this is very, very important. What this is doing is hits that deal elemental damage, removes exposure to those elements, and inflict exposure to other elements. Exposure to inflict this way applies -25 to resistance. What does that mean? I'm gonna write it down so you guys can like follow it easier. If I hit with lightning, it gets +25 lightning res and -25% fire and cold res in terms of exposure. So it's always the opposite. I hit with lightning, it loses fire and cold res in terms like in exposure ways, right? That means if I would hit with let's say I hit with lightning and cold, it will get +25 lightning and cold because I hit with both, and then it will lose 25 fire. That's why it is so crucial and mandatory that you do not have any form, not even a single damage of fire damage. Because as soon as you hit the enemy with fire damage, it will get 25 fire res, okay? It's always the opposite. So why is this so important? Because Arc is a lightning spell. That means I will naturally inflict fire exposure on the enemy. And this is not a classic exposure, it's a 25. And now with our Ascendancy, the Mastermind of Discord, which by the way also gives 1% mana regen, which is kind of insane, I get another 25, so it's a 50 in total. And with the Mastery, I'm getting another 5, so it's a 55 exposure to the enemy's resistance, which is a lot of damage. And that's the reason why early on, when your damage is not that good, I put into my regex code, I don't want to have maps where it says like you cannot inflict exposure, because for an Elementalist with LE Equilibrium, this is like a 55% resistant thing that you're not having. That's a lot of damage that you're missing out. So especially early on when the gear is lower, don't run this like non-exposure maps on an Elementalist. So this basically explains the keystones. So let's talk about the gearing, or what did change and what is planned to be changed next, basically. I only changed 2 items, which is the Cloak of Flame and a shield. So Cloak of Flame is, in my opinion, like a very, very strong chest. 40% of physical damage taken as fire damage. It means that is my form of physical damage mitigation. I'm not having high armor, I'm not having endurance charges, I'm not running determination or anything like that, so I'm very vulnerable to physical damage. 40% of that physical damage is taken as fire damage, which reduces the amount of physical damage that I get, while the fire damage is going to get reduced by my fire resistance. Please note, there is one big point here: physical damage taken as fire damage, not physical damage from hits taken as fire damage. So the Cloak of Flame actually works for bleeding, as far as I know as well, because it's a physical dot. And something like a lightning coil has 50% physical lightning damage from hits taken as lightning damage, right? So there's only the on-hit part. The Cloak of Flame is actually a global physical conversion to fire. It also has like 75% ignite duration, so I can stack more and more and more of the faster ignites without screwing up my ignite duration. On top, it has a shit ton of fire resistance, but there is no life on it. And that's why we take the Life Mastery node, 15% increased maximum life if there is no life modifiers on equipped body armor. And guess what? My chest doesn't have a life modifier. I can take that. 15% increased maximum life. I'll take that. Other than that, I decided to take now a shield. I don't know, realistically, to find a cheap way of getting ailment avoidance. Usually spots would be shield, a chest, I think on the helmet, I'm not sure. You could put it like with I don't know, with a Storm Shroud jewel with second shock effect, and there's like a lot of ways to get that. But Storm Shroud, I don't think is a league starter item, it's way too expensive, so I tried to figure out another way, and I think that I have enough damage right now, so I decided to take a shield with avoid elemental ailments. Then tomorrow when I revamp my build, or at least the items that I'm wearing, I'm probably gonna add a chance to avoid elemental ailments as well as on my boots, and then probably take like I think like there's a shield mastery that gives 20% chance to avoid elemental ailments. In the worst case, maybe a small cluster jewel, because I have like here a cluster jewel setup open that I can, or I don't have bought anything yet. So I think I'm gonna get the 100% ailment avoidance, and then I'm probably gonna unblock the ultimatum, because this was like the reason why I couldn't do it like until at the end. So this is like the two items that I changed. I bought the Cloak of Flame 100% perfect today for 30 chaos. I spent like 5, 6, 7 or maybe 800 jewelers to get it 6 socket, and then like probably 200 fusings to get it 5 linked. That's why I haven't upgraded any of my other items. My items overall are so trash. If you check the item level 40, item level 59, item level 55, item level 17, 40, and 38, and 45. What does this mean? All of my rare items here are from the campaign. They are like somewhere Act 4, Act 5. I think the amulet dropped in Act 2 or something like that. It's completely trash. If I would have this amulet or not, it wouldn't matter. The life I don't need, the fire res, I'm like overcapped by like what, like 200 overcapped fire res. Elusive and phasing on low life, I will never get that because my agnostic will keep that, and the regen as well. So this amulet is a complete whatever. I just didn't have the time or the currency or whatever, because I spent so much currency on my Cloak of Flame now to change anything of that. That's why I'm saying my items are absolute crap. The chest is good. My weapon has mana, +1 lightning, and fire dot multi, and some mana regen. I think this is like super fine. The shield was my last purchase, has a lot of life mana, resistance, and avoid elemental ailments. But the rest, gloves, boots, belt, rings, amulet, helmet, a complete disaster, man. It's so garbage. So what am I going to do to fix that? And I mean, you can see all the items that I'm wearing right now in the PUB. Let me quickly get some space over here. Probably just vendor that crap here so I can like get up a clean thing. So I filled up an entire quad tab today while grinding. It's actually kind of crazy. So basically what I'm doing every single league, as soon as I have like, let's say 20, 30 chaos laying around, then I'm usually doing my first shopping tour. This is usually early white tier maps, but I decided this time to buy the Cloak of Flame because I found 30 chaos for a perfect one rather cheap. Maybe tomorrow they're like 5 chaos for the perfect one, then it's like yikes, but could also be a divine. I just love perfect items. You don't need perfect items. I just want to have perfect items. Basically my shopping tour is always the same. Life, resistance, every single slot, 1 to 3 chaos investment. The way I do this, and the way I'm gonna do it tomorrow on stream, I'm going down here on the bottom side. You probably don't see that. Let me quickly remove, like get this one up. On the very bottom side here, you can pick chaos or maximum, let's say 5, you know? Then you make a pre-made filter, say like, okay, 2 maximum life, you know? Then a total elemental resistance. And I, for example, I want to start off with a helmet. So I want to buy a helmet. It should have like about a 70 life, and then I sort by resistance. Now it will show me everything that fulfills the parameters, which means it has more than 70 life, and also like sort by resistance, the most resistance possible, while not exceeding more than 5 chaos, right? So here you can see, I mean, this is a mirrored item, but this has like 110 resistance with a 70 life. Probably even put like mana on top because this is gonna be good for me, right? And then I'm scrolling down and be like, okay, I need some nice, like this one here. It's 100 resistance with T3 life with a perfect roll. This is like very, very good for 2 chaos only. Compared to my helm, what is this? Life, mana, and crafted T3 fire res, like complete garbage, you know. But then I just go ahead and say like, hey, I want to have the best item possible for the least amount of currency early on. So I'm gonna start out swapping out the helmet, the gloves, the boots. Boots I would get another like modifier in with movement speed, for example, and the belt as well. And once I figured out these things here, then I will check my resistance and be like, okay, I'm missing Chaos Res, I'm missing Cold Res, and that's what I'm gonna figure out with my ring slots then afterwards. Because for Amulet, I don't want to waste anything, because a Series Foible will be like my best in slot, or not technically best in slot, but very, very, very strong item, especially early on. So a Series Foible is kind of like, in my opinion, like a must-have. It's super cheap. It's like 15 chaos. I mean, it's not the cheapest item, but it's not like one of the 10 divine items. So this will give me a lot of mana regen, will make the field build a lot better, because, you know, then I'm probably gonna get to like 7k mana. Then I'm gonna try to get a cheap anointment. Probably it's gonna be like Mind Drinker, recover mana on kill, and 20% mana. Could be anything else as well. Maybe Transfiguration of Mind, or something like that. Helmet, I'm not too sure if I'm gonna take a rare one. If I can, because there is still the Crown of the Inward Eye, which is a very strong helmet. They were about 50 chaos today. They probably, the more people are going to defeat Saurus, the more helmets will drop. They probably going to get a lot cheaper soon. So I guess I'm going to pick that one up, because it gives like up to 20% increased maximum life and mana and transfiguration of mind and body and soul and whatnot. So a Series Foible and the Crown of the Inward Eye would be my next two unique items. So I would rather try to fix my resistance and everything else with the ring, the gloves, the belt, the boots, and so on and so forth. I haven't even spec'd into anything when it comes to jewel slots, so there's like so many more upgrades to do. But the first thing first is fixing my rare items and trying to get like a more positive EHP. Good, let's open the PUB real quick so you see what's going on here. The resistance are not properly working because we don't have the sub-ascendancy worked in, which I'm getting 50 alres from, right? This is missing over here. The next thing that is missing is my arc. It says Vaal arc, but it is the oscillating version. There is no oscillating version in the PUB just yet. But what it would mean is I kind of have to do like 35% increased more damage for each remaining chain, because the regular arc has only 15%, but the regular arc also have more base damage. So, you know, it's like we need to wait for a PUB update, so you actually see how much ignite damage I currently have. But since it's like still early mapping, we're not talking about bossing, we're not talking about anything like that. That's why I'm not even doing any configuration, because whatever. For you, it's important to see what items I'm wearing, what skill setup do I have, and how my tree currently looks like and my ascendancy point, right? And this will fulfill with the current PUB. Good, enough talking. Still can recommend, super great build. Time to take a nap, time to take a bit of a rest, and then we're gonna throw ourselves into the yellow tier tomorrow. And I hope that I can finish the first high tier maps at the end of the stream. Alright guys, thanks for tuning in, thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.